What's going on, Japsters? This is your boy Sintel with the Intel. PlayStation Showcase 2021 just dropped, and they dropped some bangers, baby. Oh my goodness, man. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscription button, click the bell icon for up-to-date news breaks, and give us a well-placed thumbs up as well. Yo, let's get started. Sony's PlayStation Showcase of the newest, biggest games coming to the PlayStation 5 was quite the flex. Like, they went out there and let you all know this is gonna be like a mini E3. The 40-minute look at the console's first and third-party titles on the way this year and next provide trailers and announcements for 15 different games. I just wanted to go over a few of them that stood out the most to me. Oh man, here's an oldie but goodie, definitely goodie. So nearly 20 years after BioWare's Knights of the Republic originally launched, Asper's remastering the acclaimed RPG. So that means that Knights of the Old Republic will finally be on PlayStation. In addition to the PlayStation 5, Knights of the Old Republic Remake is also coming to the Windows PC. Now beforehand, this was more of like a PC-esque port property that went to the Xbox. We weren't certain if Sony was going to get it, but it's looking like they're ready to spread their wings and fly to other consoles and give everybody that loving Knights of the Old Republic feel. Here's a couple of things that's interesting. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the remake, is going to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. Development of the remake is being led by a newly created team composed of industry veterans at developer and publisher Asper. Now they're working in close collaboration with Lucasfilm's games. This is a good thing because now that they're going to rebuild it from the ground up, maybe they can add some additional dynamics that made Knights of the Old Republic such a standout title. You know, give it a whole new paint job. You know, we love the old car, we love the engine that is in there, but if you can make it look a little bit prettier and give us a couple of more added dynamics to it, I think it can relive its old glory. Now, Asper is known for its work on creating Mac ports of Windows games and for reviving classic games for consoles and mobile devices. Games like Star Wars Republic Commando, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. But the new version of Knights of the Old Republic appears to be more than just a current day port with modern conveniences. In case you don't know, the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was released back in 2003 for the original Xbox, and it was later ported to the PC and mobile platforms. A sequel, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, was developed by Obsidian Entertainment and released in 2004. One of the things that really made the original Knights of the Old Republic stand out was its game mechanics. It was one of the first to really hit mainstream regarding action games and blending RPG elements into it. Now that doesn't necessarily seem as special today. Now, if they're building this from the ground up like they say, we should hopefully see some new and interesting ways of adding to the gameplay that made it so famous. One of the things Wolverine is known for is that sound that we all kind of like hear in our head, that snicky sound as those blades are coming out of his forearms. Well, we got a little bit of a peek of that when we got a chance to check out their brand new trailer that they released for a game of their own. Wolverine, man, all by himself, not being added in with some other additional fighters such as Marvel Alliance and games of that nature. He's gonna get his own thing. So fresh off the success of Marvel's Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sony's Insomniac Game Studio was working on an adventure dedicated to Wolverine by himself. Everyone's favorite and deadliest X-Men got a minute-long tease showing him nursing some brown liquor inside of a bar that he was no doubt responsible for thrashing. Yeah, I love it, man. It opens up and all you see is bodies laying on the ground and people over there contemplating bad decisions that they may have made. And you see, off in the cut, a big burly man sitting there trying to find some peace after what was obviously some carnage that went down. One of the guys wakes up, realizes that he still wants to make stupid decisions, and then we see the blades come out. Now, this is a teaser trailer. We didn't get a chance to really see any type of real gameplay. And what you'll notice with a lot of these videos is that they are going to be just teaser trailers. You're not going to see a whole lot of actual gameplay. But that's what gets everybody excited. What's exciting to me is that you think about how good Spider-Man was and how good the fight mechanics are. You can only imagine what they'll be capable of doing with some serious grounding and pounding, fisticuffs being delivered to the unworthy by Wolverine. So, if Insomniac is working on a Wolverine game, what about Spider-Man? Yes. Insomniac is also going to release something that's going to make all you Spider-Man fans really happy, and that is a Spider-Man 2 with a special guest star. Yo, everybody's favorite symbiote, Venom. So Marvel Spider-Man 2 is coming to the PlayStation 5 in 2023, and both Peter Parker and Miles Morales will be in it as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Ryan Schneider, head of the franchise strategy and studio relations at Insomniac Games, said on the PlayStation blog that Marvel Spider-Man's creative director and game director will return for the sequel. Schneider also revealed that Tony Todd of Candyman fame will be the voice of Venom. Yuri Lowenthal and Nadji Jeter will reprise their roles as Peter and Miles respectively. So pretty much that means the gang's all here. Everybody that made the very first renditions of Spider-Man are back for this round 2. That means you're going to get a whole lot of what you were already expecting, and how sequels go, you're going to get some additional things on top. Now that's what I call a cherry on top. Marvel Spider-Man launched in 2018 for PlayStation 4, and it was a tremendous hit for both Sony and Insomniac Games. Sony acquired the studio in 2019, following a nearly 20-year history of Insomniac developing big franchises for PlayStation consoles. So the first game starred Peter Parker and practically every major villain he's taken on in the character's 50-year history, with Mr. Negative, a relatively new baddie, but ended on a cliffhanger that left plenty of narrative room for a sequel. It was followed by a spin-off, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, a standalone title for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 that launched in November 2020. That continued the plotline introduced in the main game, where teenage Miles Morales is bitten by a spider genetically engineered by Norman Osborn, of course gaining spider powers in an origin story similar to the introduction of the character in 2011. This is another great move that Sony's doing in order to make their franchise character more into the spotlight. This is a good thing. We're seeing the Spider-Man films coming out. We're seeing Peter Parker's versions coming out into the movie, and possibly one of those versions of the Spider-Man is going to be Miles Morales as well. They're doing a really good job of beefing up their catalog, their Spider catalog, and them dropping this next rendition that's coming out in 2023 with hopefully some cool results from the Spider-Man movie, only pushing the product that much further. Another parts of Sony's lineup they're trying to beef up. They haven't stopped looking at Uncharted as well. They're doing a remaster for the PlayStation 5 and PC. So the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection comprises remastered versions of the 2016 Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and its 2017 standalone expansion, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. This is once again another example of Sony being able to market and push their franchise. Listen, Sony knows what it's doing with this marketing plan. They already have Tom Holland in Spider-Man, they have Tom Holland as well as in Uncharted. They're gonna market the hell out of it, push both of it. They're going to push it in the movies, and they're definitely going to push it in the video games. This is also going to give everybody a great opportunity to get a chance to understand why Uncharted is such a great game. If they can stick to their guns and maintain their early 2022 launch, this will come out before the movie comes out, which will allow people who may not necessarily be familiar with the franchise, but are very familiar with Tom Holland. It gives the people a chance to know that there are other dope titles coming under the Sony umbrella. Another big announcement is my boy Kratos is coming back. So the God of War Ragnarok is going to wind up Kratos' time in the Norselands. We were left on a bit of a cliffhanger if you played God of War, the last rendition of the Norse mythology, and they are going to sew everything up because there's a lot of people that were kind of mentioned, but we didn't get a chance to see any finale and no real conclusions were drawn. But we are going to get that opportunity again, man. Yo, it's time to break out the Leviathan axe and give people that work. God of War sequel teased 1 year ago now has an official name. It's God of War Ragnarok. And the new trailer is probably one of the most in-depth looks that we've seen yet. The story returns to Midgard, where Kratos immigrated with his son Atreus, following the defeat of the Olympian gods. As the title implies, both will now be involved in the conclusion of the Norse mythology and presumably the rebirth of their own world. The studio also confirmed that Ryan Hurst, who plays in Sons of Anarchy, will voice Thor, while Richard Schiff of The West Wing will play Odin. Freya was also shown as the other antagonist of the game. Freya is definitely one of those loose ends that needs to be tied up. She came across as friend and kind of ended up turning into foe. Santa Monica Studios trailer acquainted viewers with the backstory from the 2018's acclaimed God of War for PlayStation 4. Though not a reboot of the 16-year-old hack and slash adventure series, it is a part of canon. The 2018 got a free upgrade patch in early February, enhancing it for the PlayStation 5 with frame rate targets of 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second at a checkerboard 4K resolution. It's also part of the 20-game PlayStation Plus collection. Now, this is a downloadable library of all the titles that's available to the PlayStation 5 owners if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. If you have not played God of War, what are you doing, man? Yo, it's not only is it beautiful, it's a great story. The gameplay is absolutely phenomenal. It is just as good as the original ones, where it's kind of like the over-the-top third-person hack and slash. This one's a little bit more up close and personal, and you do feel it. Onwards to things that have been delayed or repeated over and over again. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. GTA 5 and GTA 5 Online for new consoles has been delayed yet again. So the expanded enhanced version of 2013's Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X has been delayed until March 2022. Originally, Rockstar Games had hoped to deliver both by November. The standalone version of Grand Theft Auto Online will be free on PlayStation 5 for the first 3 months after its launch. Yeah, I don't understand how a game can last this long. 2013 and it is still going. It's been on like 3 different systems. What's interesting to me regarding this being released on the PlayStation 5 is that the original storyline may not change. I don't know how much more they're going to add to it. From my understanding, one of the original creative directors regarding the standalone game is no longer with Rockstar. But what you can count on are the constant updates to GTA Online. That right there is their golden cash cow. It's still a lot of fun, I can't lie. It offers every kind of gameplay that you could possibly think of. Racing cars, first-person shooting, some types of treasure hunting per se, and of course, buying all the new upgraded cars, vehicles, planes, and all the stuff that absolutely blows out your user's money account. But that's all right though, man. You can still keep buying those shark cards and hopefully see it with a higher resolution and a higher frame rate as well. Are you gonna get it again? That's a real question. I mean, I've had it on 2 different systems. Let me stop lying. I've actually had it on all 3 systems, but I'm not really sure if I'm gonna do another upgrade. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so most people are either Forza fans or they're Gran Turismo fans. Well, for you Gran Turismo fans, Gran Turismo 7 is going to be launching in March. Amid all of the COVID pandemic delays that has been plaguing Gran Turismo 7, it is going to launch March 4th. So fans got a chance to check out the trailer illustrating the game's features, which include a large world to explore, a wide-ranging fleet of cars to unlock and customize, a garage park to show them off, and of course, customization that's just going to be hopefully top notch. Gran Turismo is a very fun game in a world filled with racers, but to me, it's like the granddaddy of all of the racing games. Can it still maintain its legacy of being one of the top ones in the game? I'm not sure, because Forza looks absolutely spectacular. Here's one that caught my attention and kind of looked really familiar. So Project Eve makes another appearance. Project Eve from South Korea studios Shift Up got a new trailer during Sony's PlayStation Showcase. Last year, Shift Up released new still photos and renders of the game to tease players. Now this is our first look at the gameplay. In the trailer, Shift Up highlights the main character, a woman wearing a shiny binding suit. Maybe that's Eve, we don't know. She's got very long hair tied up in a ponytail. You could probably guess what they're probably going for. Bayonetta! Yeah, I'm sure everybody on the social streams are like, oh man, that's just Bayonetta with a new coat of paint on top of it. It did look good. Matter of fact, let's just take a quick moment to take a look at some of the action going down. You definitely can't deny that the young lady is busy kicking a whole lot of ass. There was a lot of blood and a bunch of monsters getting sliced to pieces. Sometimes that's all you need. But unlike a lot of these other trailers that we've seen, we get to see some real solid gameplay. If you're a fan of Bayonetta, this looks like it's going to be your next step. Hey, this is a big one for all you Zelda fans. Oh, sorry, it's not Zelda, but it's something that plays kind of like Zelda. This property called Chia. This property Chia is going to take you to a tropical paradise and allow you to play and do all kinds of weird and fun things. So Chia's debut trailer makes it look like you'll be able to climb, swim, sail your boat around, and use a Breath of the Wild type glider as you explore the world. On top of all that, you'll be able to use the protagonist Chia's magical powers to transport your soul into the bodies of animals and take control of them. The trailer starts off with 2 characters sitting next to each other, just hanging out, chilling, and one of them is playing the ukulele. Next thing you know, Chia is stalking a seagull with a glowing green eye, and then suddenly Chia is transporting into the bird's body and takes flight. Footage then shows the character leaping from animal to animal. Chia was actually one of 10 games to be signed onto Kowloon Knight's investment fund, and it was previously known as Project Kalaloo. The trailer said that the game was inspired by New Caledonia, a French territory comprised of dozens of tiny islands in the South Pacific that is also the location of the developer studio. I think this is a great take of bringing in new forms of culture into the gaming scene. It looks like a lot of fun. It's really pretty. It looks like it's going to be safe for kids in a world filled with blood and guts and Bayonetta slashing people up. It's fun to kind of just sit back, chill, and have an adventure and be other little animals. I'm officially done with breaking your brain. That's the scoop for the day. Thank you so much for hanging out. Now, make sure you hit the subscription button and click the bell icon to receive up-to-the-minute updates. There's also a nifty little thumbs up button that you can hit as well. This is Sintel with the Intel, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.